On this episode of Fly By With Maverick, our guest is CT Brendo. Brendo and I have been acquaintances for the last 2 years, but our friendship really didn't start to develop until a year in. This episode was really special for me, only because Brendo and I are pretty close now. I consider him one of my best friends in the streaming space. The kind of friend you definitely want to have on your side. So it was really amazing to hear his insight and his journey with the streaming world. Now I'm finding myself catching his streams and watching his content on every social media platform. And you can't blame me. Brendo's a very charismatic and insanely entertaining content creator. I'll be sure to have his socials posted in the description of the video so you guys can show him some love. If you're even considering getting into content creation, I definitely recommend that you follow Brendo. I mean, he's obviously doing something right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and hit that sub button to stay up to date for Fly By With Maverick. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Wingmen, happy Wednesday. You guys, we have a very awesome episode of Fly By With Maverick ready for you guys tonight. We're going to be interviewing CT Brendo. And I got to tell you guys, I met Brendo quite a while ago on TikTok. And from there, I guess we talked quite a bit, but we didn't really start talking until recently. I would say within the last 7 or 8 months or so. And it's really kind of turned into a pretty awesome relationship. He's a super awesome guy, very genuine. But the thing is, guys, aside from being awesome, he's really good at what he does. And that's part of what Fly By With Maverick is about, is bringing light to people who deserve it. And in my opinion, Brendo 100% deserves it. So without further ado, we're going to get him in here. I'm going to undeafen Discord so he can hear me. And then we're going to switch scenes to Flyby so you can see the beautiful face that's been in chat almost every single night that we're live. Here we go. Brendo, what's up, bro?
Holy, what an intro. What an intro. How do I live up to that?
Well, you know. So, first off, how are you? How's your night?
Doing fantastic, man. Doing fantastic.
You had an awesome stream earlier. That was really fun to watch.
Sure did, yeah. Thank you for being there.
First off, I want to know your hot take on the season update for Warzone.
Overall, I think it's a win. I haven't really. We played one game of Caldera. They reduced the numbers over there, and I didn't see that there was a whole lot of the lobbies sticking up. Which, I mean, for a casual player, it's whatever. But if you're out there trying to get a lot of kills, then it might be a little difficult. One thing that I'm the most upset about for sure is the stims got pretty heavily nerfed.
Yeah,
so that was unfortunate, but it is what it is. So it's Activision and Raven. So
when you build my loadout later on and you give me some coaching in Rebirth, you're gonna have to take the stims out. Remember that, right?
So there's coaching involved now. Okay.
Yes. Well, you are way better than I am. So you're gonna A, put me in your backpack tonight, and B, give me some helpful tips along the way.
I love it.
You signed on to all of it when you said you'd come on here.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I signed the waiver.
So I want to do a quick reminder that Fly By With Maverick is about interviewing you and getting our viewers to know who you are. Some of this I may already know, but I'm going to ask anyway, just so people can get to know who CT Brendo is. So let's start right there. Who is CT Brendo? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do, etc.?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Cameron. I'm a Canadian boy, and I live in just west of Toronto. And my main passion, kind of growing up and everything, was sports. I was a kind of a nerdy sports kid, if you will. But that kind of grew my competitiveness for pretty much anything that I do, which was kind of perfect when we got into content creation and playing video games, especially.
Absolutely.
I'll always want to win and get better and improve, and that kind of led into a lot of things, especially wanting to improve daily and being a content creator and a person and trying to grow and meet new people. And throughout COVID, there wasn't a whole lot of experiences that you could go out and do, so I tried to do that through meeting new people and great people like yourself. So it's been a pretty cool ride.
That's awesome, man. So what do you do for a living, if you're able to say? Some people aren't even able to say, which is completely understandable.
Mav's been having undercover agents and stuff on with Mav, I guess. I've got a marketing background, and so I'm actually a marketer, and I guess my position technically is a brand manager. So I manage pretty much everything from what goes out on social media to the pamphlets, flyers, and do behind the scenes stuff. My entire project for the last, I'd say, month was every time a new employee comes into a firm or comes into a new job, they've got to go through all the training. And now, over the past month, I have put my beautiful voice on all the PowerPoints for them to do the training, and they get to listen to me talk about what's on the slide. And so that's been
a huge dub for the company, whatever company it is. That's a huge dub.
So I'm looking forward to hearing the feedback on those ones. That's for sure.
That's awesome, man. So, how long have you been streaming?
I've been streaming, I would say, 2 years. Taking it more seriously in about the last year or so, learning a little bit more about the industry and getting more involved.
And I'm trying to remember
really
when we first met, because it was on TikTok and it was a while ago, but we didn't really start conversing and networking and hanging out until within this last year.
Actually, I remember the TikTok. It was the small creators, and I was trying to get more people to go watch because, as you know, like I actually genuinely do go and watch other creators because I enjoy, first off, hanging out with them, but learning from them as well. And at that point, I was so new to content creation, making videos. I even go back to my videos and I cringe a little bit when I'm watching them, but yeah, and so I'm pretty sure you commented on that, and that's how we ended up meeting, which was great.
That's cool, man. And then honestly, you end up meeting so many people, but when you first start versus where we are now, your mindset truly takes a different path, and you kind of, I'm trying to think how to describe this without sounding like an asshole, pretty much, but people either decide, okay, this is going to be a hobby, or I'm taking this way more seriously and I'm going to do things differently because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you
definitely
sort of surround yourself with like-minded people, and it kind of goes from there. Ooh, what are we drinking there?
I've actually got a little, it's an odd drink. I doubt many people would try it, but it's got tequila and cranberry juice. And for some reason, it actually works really well. Hey, don't knock until you try it.
No way. I can't do tequila. You
yeah, it's just a little bit.
Fly by with Mav and my pants be around my ankles doing some crazy shit in here. I can't do tequila. No way. No way.
I mean, I wish this was an in-person interview.
Hey, maybe, someday, maybe we can, bro.
Someday. Hey, someday.
So, you kind of shift gears. You kind of change your mindset. You surround yourself with like-minded people, and you I'm trying to think how to explain it. Like, it's the difference between doing it as a hobby and doing it because you really want to chase a goal or a dream of some kind. So, with that being said, what are your ambitions with streaming? What's your outlook? What are you hoping to, achieve, per se?
I would say I would love to do content creation full time. Right now, I wouldn't say streaming is my absolute main focus. It's behind the scenes and making videos is where my real passion is at.
That's where all the work is done too.
I mean, yeah,
I
would agree.
Not even 10% of the whole deal.
Definitely, yeah. It's just a piece to the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
It really is where you connect with the audience that you create elsewhere. And honestly, to this point, we're both in that same kind of range for following on Twitch and throughout other platforms. We're very similar in that way, but getting an audience from a different platform over to Twitch and really connecting with them, it's something pretty special.
It's really
that
hard to do.
It doesn't happen often, and when it does, it's really, really cool to see.
Absolutely, man. So you said that we're kind of in the same realm. I don't like looking at followage as a measuring stick, because there's some people, and I'm not meaning to throw shade at anyone, but like Timmy Toucans.
Yep.
Right? Awesome guy. I love watching his streams. They're super entertaining.
They really are.
18,000 followers, but averages between the 200 and 500 range. So I don't like thinking of followage as a measuring stick of success, or using it as a comparison for other creators, because it just goes to show he has millions of followers on several different accounts on TikTok. So it just goes to show how difficult it is to transfer that over, right?
Yeah, it's true. And his content, if we're talking about someone like Timmy Toucans, he's developed multiple TikTok accounts, and all of those TikTok accounts are at 1 million. One was at 6 million, and they continue to ramp up, which is insane. Like, having that ability and that kind of content and that mindset and that draw to your content is to have people want to follow you for that, and have that many platforms where you can do it. It's something special. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, let's talk about content, right? So that's kind of your draw. That's kind of what you love, the grind, and more recently, you would prefer to make a banger of a video than try to muster up playing with randoms or having a bad time on a stream per se. You know what I mean? Like that kind of realistic conversation that we had. And I hope you don't mind that, that I'm saying that right now.
No,
but
not at all. Go for it.
That's the kind of wherewithal and being able to recognize that. Like, look, I'd rather spend some time right now to make what I know is going to be an amazing video that's going to get way more impressions, way more interaction, and possibly more drawback to my live stream than stress over one stream. So I'm kind of in the same boat where and I'm not saying that I don't want to live stream. I love live streams, and this what we're doing right now is exactly what I wish I could do every single time I go live. Like, realistically, that's my goal. But the content that goes with it is, when you really look at it and what we do, or what you do per se, to get that entertainment factor, to affect people in different ways, that's what it's all about. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on content creation in general, your outlook on it, and what you think. There's so many different theories surrounding content and what's involved in doing that. So what's your outlook on content creation in general?
That's a good question. I'd say it definitely varies. It varies from not only from time. So something, say, 5 months ago would have been great on TikTok that today is not going to work.
Right.
Versus something that works on TikTok that doesn't work on YouTube, that doesn't work on Instagram, or things that do tend to work. So content as a whole is such a broad topic, and to be able to focus on all of it, I think, is a very difficult task. But I definitely think there's people that can do it, and the people that are trying to pave their own path right now are having, I would say, a bit more of a difficult time versus the people that have set themselves apart 5-10 years ago. But also, the thing is, there's so many people coming into content creation now that weren't in content creation before the pandemic.
Right.
Like, an infinite amount. And before then, there was the main characters, but they've taken 10 years to build up to where they are now, and now they're these people that everyone looks up
They're
to.
just giants.
They're giants. They are.
Yeah.
They really are. And that's who's able to really stretch across all those different platforms and make use of them, which is, it's refreshing almost in a way to look at it that way, that people like you and I that have been in content creation for, I mean, I wouldn't even say that I've been in content creation, quote unquote, for 2 years.
No,
I've streamed on Twitch for 2 years, but I've only taken content creation as far as cutting my clips up, going on Twitch and making videos and making content, or taking time before a live stream and bringing it into that, planning and making that stream a piece of content, right? Like this, like what you're doing right now, making content, right? Where was I going with this? So I'd say just the fact that there's so many people going into it now, there's so many people that don't feel that they're valued as much as they should, because really we're just starting.
Absolutely.
And content is always changing too. So it's really, like right now I'm looking at people that I really love their content, and I don't see it performing as well as I would think that it should anyways. But I mean, that's just the nature of the beast that we're in, right?
Well, part of it is what kind of content are they doing that's not performing as well as we would expect, right? So, for example, you and me are primarily Call of Duty content creators, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever played any other game on stream?
I have. I've dabbled.
Okay.
nothing serious.
I know you did Apex a couple times, right?
Yep.
But
yeah, Fortnite maybe once.
Yeah, I don't
to appease my 7-year-old.
I don't want to talk about Fortnite. But like the thing is about that is, so many people out there say, well, you got to play more than one game or you're never going to make it. Well, see, I kind of tend to disagree with that. Because
I would agree with you.
If you would keep it fresh, right? If you keep it fresh, like we were talking about this in your stream actually, right? So my want to play is increased because I'm starting to get better. So that's motivating me to keep playing the game. And if you're having a good time with what you're doing, nothing else matters, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about that, though? What are your thoughts on one game versus many? I know you said you agreed with me, but can you elaborate?
For sure. So this is a conversation I've had for a long time with a lot of different people of different following. I know we were trying not to judge a creator by the scale of how many followers they have, mm-hmm. but just based on primarily from me to another creator that say had 500 to 1,000 more followers on Twitch alone. And what I saw and what kind of drove me to just select Call of Duty as a game of choice was the fact that if you build a community to start in a specific game and then have them, this might be a weird way to say it, but have them appreciate you as opposed to the game that you're playing.
No, I agree 100%.
Then it's easier to make that transition into other games, because if you're not, so if I come across, say, a piece of content on, I don't know, Valorant on TikTok, the likelihood of me watching that whole piece of content is very unlikely. Mm-hmm. It's not because I don't like that creator. I might not even know them. And maybe they're great people. I'm sure they are. But my interest just isn't in Valorant.
I hate
so
Valorant.
So if you start in a game group, a game classification as Call of Duty, like any kind of Call of Duty, and you build that community, it's a lot easier to take that community with you, which is we were talking about the giants in the community, or giants in the streaming realm. Mm-hmm. Look at Nick Merckx as a primary example. Call of Duty since the beginning of time has switched over to Apex and brought and not lost any viewership. Arguably not lost
very little. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say that's my take on it. Starting in one game and building up that community that is connected with you, and then learn to be around you or want to be around you, it's an easier transition.
And in a perfect world, right? So in a perfect world, games like Call of Duty would evolve with the time it's been out and put out new content with the game. So now that doesn't always happen, unfortunately, but but that's what I like to see. Like, for me personally, right? I can't rely on myself to get these banger clips, multi-kill clips, because I'm simply not that good. Where, yes, I'll get a triple kill or a team wipe here and there, but I'm not going out like some of these other creators and getting squad wipe after squad wipe. I tend to lean more on creativity after the fact, after production, right?
Yeah.
And what can I do with those videos afterwards to make them more entertaining? And that's what I lean on for videos like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Facebook Reels. Can you explain your process because you're blowing it up on TikTok, bro. Like, you have skyrocketed in the last couple months, and it's unreal to see. And congratulations, first of all. I know I've told you a couple times, but I'm damn proud of what you're accomplishing. That's got to be exciting on your end.
So I appreciate it. I really do.
So
what was your question?
What's the process that you go through when you have these clips from beginning to end? So you see the clip to after you post it. What does your process look like?
I'd say it varies. So right now I don't have I would specify my niche as I've got a broad niche, which might not be, I'm looking at focusing in a little bit more, but for the moment it would be educational entertainment. So most of my content that you'll look at will have a tip involved or some type of Call of Duty news, which I enjoy to create. But
the one day was hilarious, by the way.
Thank you.
Hey there.
Yeah, and experimenting, like with the intros, like sliding in on my chair, and you've got to hook them, right?
Absolutely.
But I'd say from start to finish. So if I hit a clip on Twitch, I usually locally record all my content so that I have a high quality copy of it, and then I'll clip using the instant replay on OBS. So I'll have a 2-minute section of whatever that video is, if I remember to do it, and hopefully I do. So then I have that, and I will take some time after stream, whether it's later that night or the next day, and I'll go through all of my clips and see and try to remember kind of what went on, and I'll name all of them. That way I can kind of section it off into okay, this is a good idea. All of them, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it could be, I mean, sometimes I only hit one where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll use that. And sometimes it's 20. Like, it really depends on the stream. Which, I mean, as a content creator, that when you're looking at these big guys, they're difficult for them too. You see all their cheating accusations, but they might have posted one good clip, right? That took them 8 hours to get that one perfect lobby and that one perfect setting. So then I'll go through and I'll name all of them. I'll funnel through and see which ones are good, which ones that I want to use. And the main content that I'm doing would be, if it's educational, I'll put that aside and I'll name that. If it's something else, then I'll do that too. And then I take it right into Premiere Pro, which is where I do all my editing, and I will just write a script. I'll watch whatever I'm doing. A lot of the time I don't have quite like an idea going into it, but as I watch the clip a couple times, I'll kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. Maybe I'll watch some content to see if there's anything that kind of gives me a little bit of inspiration. And
that's
and
the topic
so then
I want to touch on after this for sure. But I'm sorry.
Certainly, yeah. I'll pass over that for now then. And then I'll just kind of clip it up and do what I want. And most of the time for any of my videos, I will save it until the day after, which At the start, I didn't do. At the start, I kind of posted videos and I was like, all right, hey, screw it. It's going out. We're done with that one. We'll see how it does.
No, there's got to be a specific time.
Yeah, well, and not only that, a lot of the time I'll go back and I'll watch it the next day because you get so infatuated with your own content. It's like writing an essay and trying to proofread your own work. It's so difficult to do when you do it right away and you go back, you're like, this is a lovely piece of content. I want to put it out right now. It's the perfect time of the night. Let's go, drive her home. But then if you sleep on it, a common phrase, right? You sleep on it and see what you think the next day. And a lot of the time I'll go back and I'll take a look and have a fresh idea, which really enhances that piece of content.
It's an amazing idea, first of all. I never have ever thought, even up till now, to sleep on it. That's mind-blowing to me. And I never really thought of why you would do it, but it makes sense now because I have caught myself posting a couple videos and then even an hour later saying, shit, why didn't I do this instead? That would have been amazing. Or someone in the comments would say the same exact thing that I was thinking, and you're like, well, fuck me, I knew it.
Those comment warriors.
They never stop. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Go ahead, though. Finish what you were saying.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. So, like, sleeping on it. What made you do that? Sleep on it. That's so wild.
The amount, to be honest, the sheer amount of videos that I've looked at and taken down and then reposted and to not do as well as the original posting. And I don't honestly believe that it was because of the edit that I made. I believe that it was because it was so similar to something that I had just posted that the algorithm doesn't take that and run with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows? It's an algorithm, and maybe it's just something that I did. But the more often that I sleep on it, and the more often that I take a second look, the more often that I find that I'm not making simple mistakes, and I'm able to really match my brand, which for me as a brand, you go through someone's page and you expect a lot of their audio to match up, the pacing to match up, the visuals to match up, and the more that it does, the more you get engaged in and dive deeper into that person's content. So someone like, I don't want to get too into it right now, but like Stony Stark, for instance, where he has a similar feel going through his entire page, and it makes you want to watch that next video.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. And going with your brand and what you're trying to build is such a important and powerful tool that I feel so many people don't realize. I mean, I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything like that, but I just had a visually aesthetic overhaul of my entire stream in the last 5 months because I was after that aesthetic brand.
Which looks great, by the way.
Branding, thank you. That means the world to me. This was all my wife and my oldest daughter helped me do all the decorating and lighting, and they said, this looks really good. Run with it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I love it.
That's really cool, though. So what are you looking to accomplish with your brand? I mean, from aesthetics to sound, as you put it, to logo, I mean, everything. Are you looking to change anything? We're obviously ever changing, but what's your goal with that?
Always changing. As far as where's my channel is going, or as far as where I want to go as a content creator?
Where do you want to go as a content creator?
So as far as the content that I want to put out and be as a content creator, I would say that it is more along the lines of, I definitely want to be educational, but I want to have that. I've always wanted to have that aspect of entertainment where I would want to go back to my channel and watch all my videos back. So I think that's why I have so much diversity on my TikTok channel, for instance. which is where I post most of my content. So that's where there's the most diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to niche. And the more videos that I watch on it, the more it gets suggested that you niche down and really pick something that works and is good for your channel, and you can kind of run with that. But I like creating different series or different videos that are along the lines of something that might have performed well, but I want to kind of continuously add a new fresh take to it.
Mm-hmm.
So something, for instance, I've got a Crazy to Me series that's performing pretty well on TikTok.
I was gonna bring that up, dude. I love that Crazy to Me series.
Thank you.
I do. It's brilliant, and then you do it really well.
So the whole inception of that idea was, I see a lot of clips on TikTok, and a lot of these videos that are doing well are either simple clips or they flash a millisecond loadout. So what can I do that will make my what can I do to make my clips more entertaining and really reel people in? And I was like, you know what? That's kind of crazy to me. I was like, wait, interesting. Like, if someone said, you know what's crazy to me? It kind of gets the conversation started.
It's kind of like,
and then when you add a controversial topic,
yeah, right. You know what grinds my gears? You know, the whole
exactly. Exactly.
It's the same concept, and I love it because, like you said, you throw a controversial topic in there, and boom, you're automatically looking at more impressions. And well, guess what? The algorithm loves that shit. So it's
you talk about the M13 and the entire internet blows up. So.
It's hilarious, though, and it's kind of crazy that we put so much faith and trust into an algorithm. And I've seen it a million times, not a million times, that's hyperbole, but people say that TikTokers are the most superstitious content creators out there because there's an exact time that we have to post. You know what I mean? There's an exact time length of the video, etc., that you have to put in this niche down thing that you were mentioning. I know a lot of people who feel that way as well, and it's kind of wild, but sometimes it's true. Like, for example, my By With Maverick episodes, right? I cannot find a way to successfully post this content on TikTok because it would clash way too much with what I currently post.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm already posting these entire length episodes on YouTube. So what I plan on doing is dissecting these episodes and making them into shorts. Well, then when people see shorts of these episodes, they're going to say, well, I want to watch the whole damn thing. And guess what? It's going to be readily available. So that's kind of my personal goal with YouTube. It's just taking some time to get there. You're a gamer, Dad. You know exactly how it is balancing IRL with the content creation world. Sometimes you stay up late as hell grinding, getting things done.
Oh, sure do. Yeah, I've got the kiddo up right now.
How many kids do you have?
I've got two kids. I've got 1-year-old, or I guess 15 months, and then a 7-year-old.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's kind of actually a similar age gap that we have. My wife and I. We have a 10-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 8-month-old.
Wow.
So
yeah. Very similar.
It's been intense. It's been a learning experience trying to.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it really is.
It's a lot of work.
and a lot of people don't realize what goes into content creation. I certainly had no damn clue when I started. But then, you fall in love with it. And then you figure out, okay, what do I need to do to get bigger and better? And then you find out what you need to do.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Because you do truly fall in love with it. It's once you start to really get into it, it's tough to, like, if I couldn't stop now. I just can't, because not only has there's so much involved already, but there's such a passion now to not only create videos but improve every day. And like I was saying before, like, just finding different ways that you can make things better from every aspect of content creation that you're putting out.
for me, there's a stubbornness to it too, right? So, and I talked to my wife about this because I did quit once.
Okay.
And it was just around.
When was
this
that,
time,
if you don't mind me asking?
Around this time last year, and
Okay.
I actually stepped away. It was before GXO, before the best year of content creation I've had so far, per se, right? I'm like, this is not working. I don't want to do this. And then my wife and I talked, and you know, you're not going to quit this. And I had a long thought about it. It's like, you know, I've put a lot into this, and it's not just about the money, because it is a very expensive thing to do, right? But that's where the stubbornness comes into it. Like, well, what about everything that you've invested into this? Not even about the money, but everything else, the time, the creativity, everything that you've put into it. And you're just going to say, no, I'm done? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then you go on and you adapt and you do what you need to do to get bigger and better and achieve what you want to achieve. And a lot of people don't realize it, and that's when they step away. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, during our time in content creation, we're going to meet thousands of people. And I would say less than, and it's a crazy real statistic that I saw, less than 2% of that 1,000 people that you would meet along a 2-year timeline will be still doing it at the end of that 2 years.
Wow, that's a crazy statistic. I would expect it to be higher, to be honest, but wow.
I mean, you have to really think about the larger picture, how many streamers there are. Now, I personally know of many people that have been doing it for a long time, but there's so many people that just don't do it right, and they get discouraged, and then they step away, never to do it again. That's one of the most mind-blowing things to me in content creation. And I would have to ask you, when it comes to content creation, what is a mind-blowing thing that you never really realized until you realize it and you're like, holy shit?
I'd say there's a couple of things. The first thing would be how much actually goes into a video. I'm not talking about a full-length YouTube video that's 12 minutes long.
No.
Into a 30-second video that performs well with an audience. Or, I mean, hell, a lot of the time it doesn't. But just how much, not only pre-thought, like planning, execution, but the levels to what you need to be able to do, and what I had no idea what I was getting into. Like, I started making videos and I was on CapCut, I was on my phone, and I would take my clip, and I've got my webcam, and I've got my gameplay, and that's it. But now,
thanks for that follow. Welcome to the Wingman.
Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, no problem. Welcome, Bridge. And now I'm sitting there like, look how far things have come from what I thought I wanted my content to be to where it is now. And it's not only about what's in front of the person, but it's also like say you want sound effects, say you want memes, say you want to capture attention. Now you need a hook. Now you need to clip it, you need J and L hooks so that you're continuously talking and it's never ending, so that the story continues on and people stay engaged through your entire video. So that baffled me. I had no idea that there was going to be so much go into even a 20-second clip. It is. And the people that do it well, you just have so much more appreciation for what they're putting together.
Absolutely.
And it's a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely. So when I first started editing, I was 100% mobile, and I'm just now starting to dive into the PC editing, which I know it's taken a long time to get there. Don't at me. But even on mobile editing, I would be feeding the baby a bottle and doing editing on my phone, and my wife would be like, what are you working on? I said, a video. And she's like, you've been doing that for an hour and a half. Even on mobile editing, you do spend a lot of time. If you do it right, And there are a lot of people that still only mobile edit and are still just as successful as PC editing. But either way, it takes time and effort if you want to put out quality content.
Definitely. No, I 100% agree.
It's people just don't realize what goes into it. So you're right. You're 100% right. You have more appreciation for that 10-second clip that someone put out, that because even 10 seconds can take a long time to put effort into.
I mean, even Mr. B said, if 10 seconds takes you an extra 12 hours and it's going to be worth it, do it.
Oh, clip that, guys.
I don't know if that's the exact quote, so don't clip it. But yeah, so that was the first thing that blew my mind. And then the second thing was the mindset. Because mindset is such an important thing as a creator. First off, there's everybody that's going to say anything they can that's wrong about your content, because a lot of the time, if something's good, you're not going to talk about it. But if it's bad and you don't agree with it, then yeah, heck yeah, I'm gonna post something. But then also the mindset that changes to resiliency, and the need to keep on pushing on, even if you have a string of 2 weeks where none of your videos do well, and you're sitting there contemplating, do I keep up with this? Like, is this something that I should be doing? What am I doing wrong?
It's mentally draining.
It's mentally draining.
You go through those lulls. You really do. Everyone does. And
everyone does. Yeah.
Sometimes it's out of your control, but sometimes you might be doing something wrong. So having the capability of realizing that, or in your case, I've reached out to you personally and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this with my content. What are your thoughts? And if you have those people in your life that you can rely on for solid advice on what you're trying to accomplish, that's a huge difference maker as well.
Definitely
having the people that you can talk to about content to get their opinions to help you out, that's such a huge tool that I don't think people use nearly enough as well.
For sure. I think there's a lot of pride that goes into that. But if you're really looking to improve, and I really found this a lot with golf, which is my main background. If you look at your own swing and you try to fix it, the likelihood of you doing that is it's a very difficult thing. It's very difficult to analyze yourself. And that goes into content too, because you can believe in something with your whole heart, every fiber of your being, and go into it.
Absolutely.
And it just doesn't work out. So having those people you can bounce ideas off of, it is incredibly helpful. And I've got a nice tight group that I do that with, and I know a lot of creators that do the same thing. So I'm glad you're a part of that.
Damn, thanks, bro. But it's just mind, like you said, the mindset, and so many things that go into it. It really is mind blowing, and I don't think that it's all tied together, right? And it's so hard to explain to people because it goes into the whole networking argument, right? Well, how do you properly network? And there's this whole follow for follow negative mindset that people have with this industry when you first start out, and admittedly, probably everyone bites at that when they first start out. I don't know if you did. I certainly did. When I first started,
it's enticing.
I fell into that trap. Thankfully, I quickly realized, like, what the hell is this? Like, that's not going to get me anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So networking is such a huge, important tool with content creation as well. And so many people don't do it correctly, in my opinion. Now, there are other ways to do it. Everyone's opinion is not, the only way.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on networking, and what in your opinion is the correct approach for that?
I don't think there's a correct approach, but I know there's an incorrect approach. I watched a video on TikTok, on Twitter. It got shared from TikTok, saying go into other people's streams and make connections, and then expect them to come over to your channel. And I don't think that's the right way to go about things. I personally from my standpoint, I've met a lot of fantastic people. What month? We're in the going into the 6th month. So in the last half year, I've met and connected with, I want to say, at least 12 really great creators, and I've been really fortunate to do that. But I didn't network through going in there and expecting something from them. That was never my intention. But yes, like going to someone's stream and talking with them and engaging with their content is a phenomenal way to have your name noticed. Going into there with intention to try to draw people back, and going into someone's stream and saying, yeah, I'm going live. Probably not the best practice. But also through content, because people of like minds want to be with people of like minds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to find people and surround yourself with great people, the ability to raise yourself to the next level, it's a little bit closer because you can push each other. So having the mindset of more togetherness instead of competing against each other definitely helped me. But I don't know, networking is a really difficult thing to do, but if you do it correctly, you can make really great connections. And I think scary. Connections is the
it's
most
kind of intimidating.
It is scary, yeah. Especially if you don't know the person at all.
Right.
And
right.
I don't know about you, but accents throw me off. If someone's got a different accent than I do, then I don't know. It's intimidating to go in there.
Can I just say I love your accent though?
Good old Canadian boy.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. No, that's true though. I mean, when you don't know somebody and you're kind of throwing yourself out there, I guess it really, you have to be social. I mean, if you're a content creator, your chances are you're going to be social anyway, because you can't stream and not talk to people. It's just impossible.
And and not to cut you off, but the difference between social and being a introvert is totally different. Like, or an outrovert. Like, you can be a total introvert and stream and be social. That's definitely not a requirement, because a lot of streamers are introverts.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, continue what you're saying.
That's a great point. And I know quite a bit of people also who are considered introverts, but they are very successful at this because they are very good at talking with people. And to go further more beyond that, it's more than talking, right? There's an entertainment level on a live stream that's truly beneficial. And having watched your stream personally, you have implemented a lot of different things in your stream that brings a whole different level of entertainment. And Wingman, I just want to let you guys know, at any point, if you guys want to show Brendo some love, ! Brendo, swing by his Twitch and be sure to show him some attention. He absolutely deserves it.
Thank you.
Entertaining. And I got to tell you, my favorite channel point redemption that you have is the dumpy check.
The dumpy check. That is definitely the most popular with Matt.
Just agree. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Wingman.
Let's go to agree.
So, what are some of the things that you've implemented personally that you feel is a dub, and what are some more things that you want to implement the more that you adapt your live stream?
So some of the things that I've implemented personally that are a little bit different than, say, your typical streamer would be like channel games. We've got a channel game called The Mines, and what it is you redeem your 2,500 points and you get the opportunity to go to the mines. So we go to our other screen, and there are 12 tiles, and they're all different, so don't think you can catch on. But they're all different, and they've got rewards underneath. And with those rewards, it can be anything from an in-game challenge to an IRL challenge to like 40 push-ups.
How many push-ups do you have to do right now? Because you're still
I
do you
still
have
owe
to
40.
redeem?
I had to bank 40.
That's awesome.
But I think we might have been at about 130 today. So yeah, we were definitely up there.
I'd have a
but
damn
yeah, so
coronary if I had to do 40 fucking push-ups.
yeah, it keeps it interesting, keeps it fun. Something to kind of save up for everybody in the chat. And then we just got the Go XLR, which was definitely something I couldn't have done without my community, which obviously very appreciated. So added just that next level of quality, entertainment value, so that I can make things just a little bit more entertaining for when anybody comes in to the stream, and it's fun to play around with for me and hopefully the people watching.
I like the personal touch, the personal touches that you do as well. So like your alert boxes where you're doing your dance when someone gives you. Can we see that dance real quick?
There's a few. There's this one.
Oh shit!
There's that one. And then the other ones are behind an OnlyFans link. So.
Oh, okay. Can you share that with me later? I'm just.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
asking for a friend. You're lucky I don't have you do a dumpy check on Fly By With Mav. Although you might have enough tequila in you now, to where it wouldn't be a problem.
Hey, I just said just a splash.
Let's ask two more serious questions, and then we're gonna get some games in. Because you're an hour ahead of me. How long are you wanting to go tonight here?
I'm good until the kiddo wakes up, so we've got hopefully plenty of time.
You said earlier that you draw inspiration from other videos, people, etc. What are people that inspire you to do better, or to even get you in a groove per se of content creation, and how do they bring the better of you out?
I've got a few. I really do. I try not to draw too much inspiration off of one creator, because then I started off that way a little bit and I regretted it. So then I kind of changed things up, and I enjoyed creating the content a little bit more because I wasn't trying to crawl up another person's path. Mm-hmm. But a few people that I really look up to in the content creation game and really enjoy watching their content and learning from. One would be Sally is a Dog, terrific storyteller. There's so much in his videos when you're actually
Amazing
watching
storyteller.
Yeah, right, and ties it all together very well. Then I would say definitely the Stony Stark. His slow-mo changed the game as far as content creation goes, and there's so much of it now, and for a good reason. It's it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm Diaz, who is another close person with Stony Stark, but just different aspects of what goes into his content. I like to draw from, and I really look up to him as far as different quips and the wit that he has. It's really impressive. And before I kind of more blew up on, not to say that I'm a big creator, because in the great realm of things I'm pretty small, but Pip-Boy Fresh, I was a part of a Facebook thing Stone Mountain is on Facebook, and he started Pipeline, which is like a creator school, you could say, like a trainer camp kind of deal.
Yeah.
And
did you do
Pip-Boy
that?
Fresh, I did a month of it, and I really let's say I paid for a month of it.
Okay.
Because I really didn't do anything within it, so I didn't get any value out of the actual program. But one thing that I did, and I really enjoyed his content to start, was Pip-Boy Fresh, and I saw an interview with him and his introduction from comedy and like sketch comedy, and how he includes that in his Twitch and his content, and it was something that piqued my interest, and it was something that I wanted to do more of. And then I ended up reaching out to him one day. No, actually, you know what? Talk about networking. I was in his stream, and I was just kind of asking questions here and there, not to like disrupt the flow of his stream, but I was just asking little questions here and there, and he was happy to answer them, and told me one day, "Hey man, like if you have any questions or you want to talk more, I would love to. Just send me a message." And so I did that, and it was
That's awesome.
awesome. And he's one of my greatest colleagues, greatest friends. I would hope to call it in the creator space. And that is something that is so cool. To have somebody that you really looked up to take you on and help you
Absolutely.
and befriend you. That was a really cool experience that I'm extremely grateful for. And to mention a couple others, I am Rob, extremely controversial, and I love that about him.
The hot take king, right?
The hot take king. And before he moved into Tarkov, Break, who was a phenomenal storyteller as well, and was pretty unique with his content and his style on content. So those were all creators that I really draw inspiration off of. I mean, even to this day.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say the last serious question we have for you is, if you can give someone new to the space of content creation and streaming a piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say you're only getting started. The reason for that is, even after 2 years of so-called content creation, or 6 to 12 months of content creation, I'm only getting started. And really, even in the first 5 years, you could only be getting started, which seems like a long time. It really does. And as much content as you can put out, and it could be a lot in, say, the span of 5 years. But a lot of people don't get that break that they're really looking for. So if you continue on and persevere and have the mindset of, I'm only getting started, like, we're gonna keep things fresh, try to keep on going. That is probably the most refreshing thing that you can take into your own content creation. And it's what I try to do, because it's really easy to get down on yourself in this practice. Really easy, especially because a lot of the time you're just doing it on your own, which can be difficult if you're up at 3 a.m. editing a video and you only get 200 views.
Yeah.
That sucks. And the thing is, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, it goes back to the mindset that we touched on earlier, and how important it is to have a good mindset. Because I've come to realize, and I realized earlier on, that the more that I fell in love with content creation and streaming is either you understand it or you don't. And just for an example, if you're talking about trying to explain it to your family who has never watched a stream or watched a TikTok video that you've done, or YouTube, etc., just what the hell is it you're trying to do? So wait, you're taking gaming clips and you're putting them online. Why would somebody want to watch that type? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, either
you're
you
playing video online.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you spending 3 hours a day doing that?
There's such a negative stigma even now. Now it's obviously way more accepted in society now than what it was even 5 or 10 years ago. But it's still having the mindset, like you said, you're in it alone. when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're editing a clip, and unless you have that tight group that you can reach out to, obviously, but like your family doesn't, unless they understand, they don't understand, and it's super hard to explain. But then again, I guess either you understand that statement or you don't.
But also to add on to that, it's learnable. Like at the start, I didn't understand, and that's okay. You don't have to. At the start, I thought going back to it was actually my second TikTok clip. My second TikTok clip was actually a breakdown of a play that I was doing, which is so funny to think back on, because I started out with that, and then I transitioned into posting just clips of me doing random shit on Modern Warfare and Warzone that literally anybody in the gaming community could do. So where in that whole creation and putting out that content was I being different than anybody else?
Yeah, and that's the most important part. You have to set yourself aside from the rest.
Mav, I started on such a good note, and I got so far away from where I needed to be. But somewhere along the line, I was like, you know what? Am I having fun making this? Do I want to watch this clip over and over again? Like, probably not. So having that shift in mindset to what I believe is a quality piece of content, it really changed the way that I created. And even now, every single day, like lately, I've been watching I'm assuming, hopefully you know Key and Peele and their series on YouTube,
course, yeah.
and lots of different things, right?
Fucking hilarious.
So hilarious. They are hilarious people, and they have amazing sketches that are so interesting to watch, not because they're only funny, but because they tackle satire of situations so differently than everybody else, and it makes you think. So I was like, you know what? I started watching interviews with Keegan-Michael Key. And the different, like, to go behind the scenes and listen to him speak in an interview. And maybe I took that as a little bit of research for coming on here because I was nervous, but it was also just so interesting to see how he talked about the process of creating a video that was of that level of content, from planning it, writing it, and it takes them months to develop a video that is a minute long, or maybe 6 minutes long. It was really interesting, and that really, even now, is shifting my mindset to how I do things.
That's awesome, man. That is really cool. Well, I'm gonna have to say thank you for coming on here. This is gonna be the conclusion of the serious part, right? You guys, we're gonna get into some games where Brendo's gonna put me in his backpack because he has like 3 times the KD I do. And we're going to have him coach me a little bit, maybe, and make me a loadout. However he wants to make it, it's going to be fun. So if you guys want to stick around, I will also be more engaging on chat this second half. And if you guys have any questions for Brendo, please let us know, and we will get them asked. But we're going to switch over, and we're going to get some Rebirth. You good with Rebirth, or you?
Yeah, I'm cool with anything.
Don't
Doesn't
make me
matter.
play the big map, please.
I know, it was torture for me today too.
So we're going to switch over, Wingman.